For months, Karen Reed's story was told by others, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and a captivated public. But on August 29, 2025, weeks after her acquittal, Karen Reed finally spoke for herself on the Howie Carr Show. No longer a defendant, she was determined to reclaim her narrative. Appearing with her attorney Alan Jackson, Reed's message was direct. You lost big time, and you know what you did. This wasn't just victory, it was an accusation against the system she believes failed her. Reed described her life since John O'Keefe's death as a prison, built not by bars, but by the actions of the Massachusetts State Police and Norfolk County DA's office. She spoke of losing her career, her home, and even the freedom to drive, her SUV still impounded as a reminder of all she's lost. Attorney Jackson announced they're preparing a sweeping civil case targeting state police, the DA's office, and individuals involved in the investigation. Nothing is off the table, Jackson declared, signaling their intent to hold those responsible for what they call a malicious prosecution. Reed's interview made one thing clear: her acquittal is just the beginning of a new fight for accountability. The case began on a snowy January morning in 2022 when John O'Keefe was found dead outside a Canton home. Prosecutors claimed Karen Reed, after a night of drinking, struck O'Keefe with her SUV and left him to die. The defense, led by Alan Jackson, argued she was framed. O'Keefe was killed inside the house, and powerful people conspired to protect the real culprits. The trial became a battle of narratives, a domestic tragedy versus a sprawling cover-up. The first trial ended in mistrial, the second, in acquittal on all homicide charges. The jury found Reed not guilty of murder, but guilty of DUI, earning her a year of probation. The verdict was a stunning rebuke of the prosecution, and validated the defense's claims of a flawed investigation. Yet, the public was left with more questions than answers about what truly happened that night. The case remains one of Massachusetts' most polarizing legal dramas. The not guilty verdict freed Karen Reed, but her old life is gone. Once a successful finance professional, she lost her job, her home, and her independence. Now living with her elderly parents, Reed faces the emotional scars of public accusation and the loss of John O'Keefe. Her name is forever linked to a high-profile case, and rebuilding is a monumental challenge. Legal troubles persist. O'Keefe's family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit, a civil case with a lower burden of proof. Reed's team is fighting to dismiss it, arguing the criminal verdict proves her innocence. But the shadow of the case lingers, ensuring her ordeal isn't over. Every aspect of her life, where she lives, how she's seen, has changed. For Karen Reed, the journey to recovery is just beginning. The verdict closed one chapter, but the struggle for normalcy continues. With the criminal trial over, Reed and attorney Alan Jackson are going on the offensive. They're preparing a major civil rights lawsuit against the state police, DA's office, and investigators, seeking accountability for what they call a malicious prosecution. Reed is also writing a book to share her story, details and perspectives the trial never revealed. There's so much more people need to hear, she said, determined to control her own narrative. Meanwhile, a limited series about the case is in development, but Reed has distanced herself, insisting it's unauthorized. She wants her story told authentically, not dramatized by Hollywood. Through legal action and her book, Reed aims to clear her name and force a reckoning within law enforcement. Her fight is far from over. It's just entered a new, more public arena. The Reed case put the justice system under a harsh spotlight. Defense allegations of conspiracy led to an independent audit of the Canton Police, which found no proof of a cover-up, but exposed serious procedural errors. Lead detective Michael Proctor was fired for misconduct after the trial, validating some of the defense's claims. Public confidence in law enforcement has been shaken, and the case has become a symbol of investigative bias and the need for accountability. The questions raised, about evidence, conflicts of interest, and a rush to judgment, still linger. The legacy is lasting skepticism and a demand for greater oversight. When the system itself is on trial, the consequences reach far beyond one verdict.